Hey everyone, if you want to make your own podcast but you don't know where to begin, Spotify for Podcasters makes it super easy. They've got everything in one place, it's totally free, and you can make money while doing it. Here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start doing it today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and pretty much everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also supported, and you can even conduct polls and Q&As. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, the platform is totally free. No catch, totally free. When I wanted to start my own podcast, I did not know where to begin, and I didn't think it was even possible. And Spotify for Podcasters made it happen. They made it easy, they made it quick, and I am doing something that I love. What more can I ask for? So if you're interested in starting your own show, you can do it, and I highly recommend you give this a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Everything Kratom, the podcast about anything and everything Kratom. Great to have you with us on this Wednesday morning. Hoping all's well with you out there as always. I'm doing pretty well myself. I'm actually really digging this new strategy. The one I talked a little bit about last week on one of these episodes, where I'm trying to take Indo White in the morning for a change up rather than taking it in the afternoon, and then moving my, green Mang Da or whatever it is that might be a good morning type of Kratom and moving that to the afternoon. And for those of you who listened to that episode last week and recall some of it, you might remember I was saying that so far, the Indo White in the morning is just like so much better than it has been in the afternoon. I really get an amazing kick out of it in the morning, and I had taken it in the afternoon because that's when I'm slowing down, and I really need that boost. And so I naturally thought white would make sense there. And I find that over the course of the day, if I'm taking the same type of Kratom, I've talked in the past about taking, a day off in between, taking Indo White, and then a day off in between taking something else and seeing if it makes a difference. But I don't think I've talked about the fact that if I take Indo White throughout the day, like if I just use one type of Kratom throughout the day, it diminishes in its effectiveness dramatically. I think that's the main circumstance where I notice a very significant change in the effects of Kratom for me. Otherwise, there's some slight changes or differences, and if I take a break, a tolerance break, if you want to call it that, for a day or two or a week or whatever, I'll notice some change, but it's not like bombastic. But if I take Indo White in the morning and then again in the afternoon and then again in the evening, by the evening time, I'm not even going to feel anything from taking the Indo White. But if I take Indo White and then green Mang Da and then some sort of Thai, each one of those is going to affect me, and I don't think that I feel a diminished effect. Now, with that said, when I moved the Indo White back to the morning, I was like, wow, this is packing more of a punch than it does in the afternoon for me. And I think that one of the reasons why is because I'm just tired or I've slowed down in the afternoon. And so it would make sense that if you're really going to want to be energized and you take a white in the morning, that's going to be the full potential energy that you can experience. So at least from my own personal experience, that was the case, and it has been. So I've really enjoyed that and thought that I would start off this episode by mentioning that I'm still trying that out. With that said, that is not the topic of today's episode. So today I actually wanted to talk about when is Kratom most effective for me? And you can take that a few different ways, right? But the way that I mean it is under what circumstance or under what specific set of circumstances or in what situation is Kratom the most helpful for me, effective, powerful, all around, like no matter what metrics you're using, how is it the most effective at helping me achieve what I'm trying to do with it? Like if I have a challenge in front of me, or I'm trying to achieve a goal, or I'm not, but I'm just wondering when is it, the strongest, or when does it feel like it's hitting that sweet spot, like the perfect dosage and everything? Like, what is the specific set of circumstances where Kratom is doing anything and everything that I could ever dream that it would do for me? And the answer actually kind of surprised me when I thought back on it and, roamed through my recollection of Kratom experiences over the years and all the different circumstances that, I found myself in when I've tried Kratom. I came to the conclusion that Kratom is the most effective for me and works the best in the following situation. I didn't get enough sleep the night before. And by that, I mean like something went wrong and I had to do something in an emergency, or I just couldn't get to sleep for some reason and I don't even know why. And I lay awake worrying about something dumb or whatever it is. Like, 2 hours of sleep I'm talking about. So I didn't get enough sleep the night before, hardly any, if at all. And I have had a very small breakfast to a mid-sized breakfast the next morning. And it's around mid to late morning. Maybe let's call it 10 a.m., 10 to 11 a.m. In that specific, very specific circumstance, Kratom is the most effective for me. Isn't that weird? I really had to think about it, and I've been in that situation more times than I would have liked, but you have times when you just don't sleep enough, and when you have a baby, that definitely happens a lot more. But, even with college or just worrying about things that aren't really that important, or I have a job interview the next day way back when I was, in between jobs and things like that, just like whatever the reason may be, I found myself in the situation many times where I have had hardly any sleep the night before. And the constant throughout all of these scenarios that I can find is that in all those scenarios, the next morning when I don't sleep hardly at all, it's hard for me to eat much, but I can eat some. And so I have a smaller breakfast. And then around 10 or 11 a.m., I start to fade a bit. Like I'm getting really, really tired, but I just can't go to sleep because it's the daytime and I just need to get myself back on track, or even worse, I have to go to work or something like that. Or, I don't want to be out of it. Like I want to be playing with my daughter or whatever it is. And I need to wake myself up, but not just wake myself up. Because when you're very, very tired, like sleep deprived, and you need to wake up, just having energy doesn't help in and of itself. When I'm in that situation, my brain is actually lagging, like miles behind. And I need to not just wake up, but bring my mental capacity back to full strength, or at least to a level where I feel like, well, I don't feel like I didn't sleep last night. I feel like I slept more than I did, and I'm able to operate through, this day without feeling like I am a shell of my former self. That's the way to put it. That is where I have found Kratom to be the most effective. Specifically, white Mang Da, Indo white, green Thai or white Thai, green Mang Da, and maybe any one of those in combination with a little bit of white Borneo. Taking any of those, or, any of them in combination with some white Borneo maybe. If I take maybe 3 grams, or maybe even 3.5 grams, so a bit more than my average dose would be for those on any given day. If I take about 3.5 grams of that around 10 or 10:30 in the morning in a situation like that, it's like I, in 10, 15 minutes, am myself. I am whole again. And it's not just the energy. I'm given energy, but I am there. My mental capacity is restored. I have, this sudden endurance / not motivation, but just agency, I guess would be the way to say it. Like, it gives me my agency back when beforehand, 10 minutes beforehand, I was feeling like a slug that wasn't going to be able to do anything that day and was having trouble, putting a few words together just to have a sentence, So that's when it's most effective for me. And I really have thought back on it. This has happened many times. It always comes through. Now, the caveat to this is that even though it is extremely helpful and restores me to seemingly full strength, both physically and mentally, I kind of can't pull it off again after that. So maybe I will have taken it at 10 or 10:30. By 11 a.m., I feel like I had 8 hours of great sleep with great dreams the night before, and I'm feeling great and fine and doing everything, I would normally do. And then around, I don't know, let's say 1 or 2 p.m., so just a few hours later, I start to feel myself slowing down again. And I can tell that it's not just a little bit of a slowdown. I can tell that this is going to be going down for a long time. It helps, Kratom not only helps in that moment, but even in the hours afterwards as it's wearing off, I still feel like Kratom is helping me, because even though I'm slowly getting tired and, kind of going back to what I was feeling earlier that day, it slows it down and it draws it out so that it's not just like, oh, I'm so tired. Or you ever have one of those moments where you're just like all of a sudden hit by fatigue and you're just like, oh my God, I'm so tired. It kind of makes that not happen, which would be very intense. I can't imagine, because it'd be like experiencing no sleep all at once all over again. And I would hate that. I don't know if it would be worth it at that point. But what it does is it makes it so that sleepy feeling and that sleep deprivation type of feeling is drawn out, so that as it fades back in, it fades back in. It doesn't just hit me in the face. So it's, another few hours before I'm back to feeling the way that I was in the morning. And this is where the caveat comes in. If I tried to take Kratom again around 3 p.m., let's say 3 or 4, which by that time, then it's like, all right, now I'm really getting tired. It's almost like I don't feel it. And I think it's just because I'm so tired, and that Kratom helped in the morning, but it's like at that point, it was kind of a one-hit wonder for the day. Like for the rest of the day, even if it's like spaced out by 10 hours, I will not really get much of an effect from Kratom again if I take it again that day. Doesn't matter what type or when I take it. And I think it's just because my body's so tired at that point, and my mind, that it's just kind of like ignoring any sort of input like Kratom at that point. I know that there's no science in that. I'm just kind of telling you how it feels. But that's the situation where Kratom is the most effective for me and the most helpful. And it's actually when I'm kind of like really beaten down and really tired, and it's mid-morning and I've had a little bit to eat. It's so interesting how that is consistently the most effective. But in all the other situations of taking Kratom, I don't think that I notice a greater benefit or a more dramatic restoration of my character by taking Kratom than when I'm in that situation. So it certainly has come in clutch a number of times, needless to say, and it's kind of like my secret weapon in the unfortunate circumstance where I don't get, any sleep the night before and I've got a lot to do the next day. So I guess the way to sum this up would be Kratom gives me my physical and mental agency back when I'm dealing with sleep deprivation. So I hope that you found this interesting, and I hope that you will share your experiences with me about this as well. If you've ever been really tired or sleep deprived and you've taken Kratom, does it help you in that situation or does it make it worse? And what is the magic circumstance for you where Kratom is the most effective? Is there some sort of specific sets of circumstances where it is just the bee's knees is bee's knees and does what you could only dream of it doing? Share it with me. Anything, everything, kratom@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. All right, everybody. With that, I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We will be back tomorrow. So make sure to sleep well and take it easy. Bye-bye.